Cowherd, can Paul and Harden coexist?
Yes, they averaged 21 assists combined last year. These guys elevate others. They don't live in a tunnel. Secondly, Harden doesn't play defense. Paul does. That helps. Harden is able to create foul situations. You can't double either of them now. So, listen, people adjust. Wade and LeBron really wasn't an ideal fit. Two smart guys. About a year later, you're like, okay, the alpha males have figured out how to make it work. I think these are smart veteran guys, and it works.
They're renting Paul basically for 1 year, hoping to sign him long term. I don't like that. This is a great trade for Jim's Big Three League. I could see these two guys playing great together in the Big Three. In the NBA, they both need the ball. I mean, they got all those assists because they dominate the ball and then they give it up at the last minute after they break a defense down. I don't see this as a great fit.
I'm with you, Jason. Look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I do see it could be problematic. And mentally, they both will want to make it work. You know, there are reports that they've been talking about it. Chris has always been like, hey, let's get somebody else in here who can handle the ball a little bit, take the pressure off me. Remember, he wanted Chauncey Billups. Yeah, So mentally, he's willing to do it. But your game sometimes is your game, especially after 13 years. And Chris has always dominated the ball. I think it's going to be a little bit harder than he thinks to adjust to being off the ball a good amount of the time. And same for Harden, since he's gotten used to handling it.
I'm going the opposite way. I think it'll work. And the reason why is a couple things. One, James Harden loved the role of playing point guard. But back in about February, he started inquiring about getting Chris Paul into a Rockets uniform. Being that he wanted to get off the ball a little bit more, it saves him energy and he can be more efficient. Second, Chris Paul is older. Of course, throughout the course of his career, he always had to dominate the ball because he really didn't have a second guy with him, so he had to do it. As you get older in this league, you want to be more efficient. You want to figure out ways to play with guys to take the pressure off of you. Here's a really good combination, even within D'Antoni's offense, which I played in. Yeah, he can pick and roll and do some things, but now they can play off of each other, and they're willing to do it. So Harden willing to say, listen, take the ball out of my hand. That tells you right now that he's crossed over from being, I'm a numbers guy, to a guy that now really wants to win.
And showed that last year. I thought he really,
he was great.
He tried defensively. I mean, James, you know, it's funny, James is thought of as sort of high maintenance, and Chris is the old school. Chris has got some maintenance, and Harden, I thought, really showed some maturity last year.
What does D'Antoni do with his offense? Because 4 stops, no matter who the players were, hasn't it always been point guard, high pick and roll, creating for everybody else?
Well, it's been point guard, high pick and roll, post pick and roll in regards at the elbow. But when we were in Phoenix, remember, Joe Johnson loved to handle the ball too. So sometimes to relieve Steve Nash, what he did was had Joe initiate the offense and run pick and rolls and do some things. That's why we were so potent in regards to being able to score, because you had a bigger point guard that can beat you, but then you had Steve Nash who just dissected. So it's all about playing off. They were sharing the ball.
You know what? Houston still is going to be aggressive. They need another piece. They can't stop here. And as I'm sitting here listening to you all talk, I started thinking back. James Harden once played with a ball-dominant point guard in Russell Westbrook and had Kevin Durant, and they went all the way to the finals.
He was so much younger, though. Remember, he was coming off the bench, and he would kind of be the point guard when he came in, and Westbrook would be off the ball.
To your point, Harden was fairly comfortable playing with Durant and Westbrook. The team didn't want to pay him.
That's right.
And now it looks like Harden's very comfortable with Chris Paul. Not everybody's Kobe. There are guys in this league, to your point, that are okay, that don't want to be the interview after every game. He dated a Kardashian, and he's like, I'm out of here. I'm not into this stuff. Maybe Harden's more mature and doesn't need to be as ball-centric as we think.
I say this, as a player, to be efficient, you have to have help. And with Chris Paul, this gives the help that James Harden has been searching for. So from an ego perspective, think about Arizona State, didn't really win a lot. He finally got to OKC, got a taste of it. Now at Houston, he's getting close. He's getting a little bit older, more mature. He understands that now is the time to make his move. He's going to give the rock up and fit right in, I believe.